Hey, what's going on guys? McZuba here, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at a blue-white control deck for standard best of one. So I just want to quickly apologize for not uploading as consistently as I have been the past week. It's not exactly final season for me, but it's like the couple weeks before finals, meaning I have to write a lot of papers. So Magic has been a little bit on the back burner. I'm still at the bottom of Diamond 4 and I haven't had exactly as much time to record as I'd like to, but we're back now, and I'm super excited to bring you guys this blue-white control deck that features Alrund's Epiphany. So I want to go way over the top with this deck. The whole mid to a little bit of the late game is just staying alive, countering your opponent's cards, gaining life, basically trying to maintain a relative stream of card advantage, and then basically take over by taking extra turns with Alrund's Epiphany. So we'll get into the list. We have 4 glass caskets, just removal to stay alive, 2 births. I want to bump this up, but honestly, even though it's an 80 card deck, I had trouble fitting in everything I wanted, and if I had it my way, I'd probably have about 10 more cards in here, but we want it to be as consistent as possible within an 80 card list, so we settle on 2 Birth of Meletes. Fae of Wishes with the Wish board. We're in best of one, we're planning on going super late, so we might as well have at least 1 or 2 Faes. We can go over the wish board really quickly. We have a Light of Hope, just enchantment hate, gain some life. I mean, you can put a counter on Yorion or Archon. I don't recommend it. Sorry. Stern Dismissal, kind of like your Unsummon, but it can hit enchantments too, which comes up. Unsummon can hit your own creatures, but Stern Dismissal can hit enchantments. So I think that upside is worth Stern Dismissal over Unsummon. Basically wipe the yard against, Rakdos, cycling, that type of thing. Disdainful Stroke as a sort of safer counter than Negate if you're worried about like an Ultimatum or a Yorion. Negate, just, straight up negate. Take a permanent if you know they have no way to remove the Banishing Light. Kind of like Ramp or Reset your yard against rogues can be really good. Or I say Ramp, I mean if you're casting this you're probably in a great spot. It's more for the whole graveyard reset thing. Hard counter if in case you need another one. Wipe the board in case you need another board wipe. Shark Typhoon, uncounterable threat. Another extra turn in the sideboard in case you've used all of yours or, want to fetch another. Ugin, wipe the board. Heliod's Intervention, destroy artifacts and enchantments. You can gain life, it's an option. And Dance, because even though we're not a Doom deck, we still have a lot of artifacts and enchantments which wind up in the graveyard, and Dance can be an alternate win con, so that's why it's in the board. I mean, Joyous Disruption to force spike something. It's also kind of a land, so we can put it here. Pretty good. 1 negate, because I like having 1 negate in my decks. We have the other one in the sideboard, and I'm considering even bumping this up. Problem is, I'm not sure what I'd cut, so we're only running with 1 negate for now. Omens, blink it with Yori and draw some cards, smooth out your draw. Same logic with the Tome, smooth out your draw, scry your heart away, scry to your heart's desire, whatever, you guys know what I mean. Gain some life, love the Tome. Nico creates enchantments when it ETBs. If you have Archon, that's great, it makes a lot of Pegasi. And you can make more shards with the Mindus. You can kill a creature if you've drawn extra cards, and you can get into these weird loops with Skyclave Apparition and Brazen Borrower, or Fae of Wishes putting it back in your hand. So Nico sees a lot of value in the deck. Saw it coming, just universal counterspell that you can foretell. Something to do on 2. I mean, we have a lot to do on 2 anyways, but if you don't have any of that stuff, Saw It Coming is an option. Brazen Borrower, something else to do on 2. Mostly here for the combo with Nico, but the bounce interaction can be pretty solid. Skyclave Apparition, take out your opponent's permanent, kind of like rebuy it with Nico, plink it with Yorion and the caskets. Omen of the Sun, stay alive, more enchantments. Dance of the Nights essentially banished into the Fable, which we're going to look at in a second. And Yorion, Archon, lots of enchantment synergy in the deck. Archon, kind of like the main way I want to take over against aggro, goes super wide, gains a ton of life. I'm having a lot more fun with Archon in my control decks, so we're going to run 3 today, considering bumping it up to 4, but I'm still not sure. Doomscar, just clear the board. It's our board wipe, better than Shatter. You can foretell it on 2, that's really nice. ECD, take out a thing, you can blink it with Yorion, and return a creature or planeswalker. We have the Archons, Nico, Fae. Fae isn't amazing to get back, but it's going to be a huge blocker. Brazen Borrower is just fine. Skyclave Apparition, which is pretty good. I might cut this down to 3. I'm still not sure yet. So if the numbers go down throughout the video and maybe you see a 4th Archon, maybe like another Negate or something, maybe another Brazen Borrower, I probably ended up cutting one of these. Alrund's Epiphany, take an extra turn. You exile Alrund's Epiphany afterwards. And I'm not 100% sure how this is going to work with Fae of Wishes. Fae of Wishes said you may reveal a non-creature card you own from outside the game. I think we can cast our exiled Alden's Epiphanies, but I'm not sure. So I will double check on that during the games. And the tech, I actually saw a AZORIUS banish into the Fable deck, which kind of inspired me to make this. And I wanted to run one banish into Fable to see how it works. So this is a 6 mana AZORIUS instant. When you cast a spell from your hand, copy it if you control an artifact, and copy it if you control an enchantment. You may choose new targets for the copies. So first of all, we have artifacts in the tome, and we have plenty of enchantments throughout the list. Another artifact you can run if you're worried about this or want to run more is Midnight Clock. It's a solid artifact to have around. It rams you into the Fable, it rams you into the Epiphany. Problem is space. Again, it's very hard to find space in this deck, which is hilarious because it is an 80 card pile. But yeah, and then you return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. And again, you don't return one, you return as many times as you've copied into the Fable. So usually I think it's going to be 2 because we pretty much are always going to have an enchantment on board, but you might even have 3 if you have saved a tome throughout your game. So that's pretty solid. And then you create a 2/2 white knight creature token with vigilance. So basically just a huge tempo play that we're going to try out on 6 mana. This can also be Sublime Epiphany, which might be better, but we're trying Banish into Fable just for a bit of fun. Mana base, we have a wide array of stuff: castles, plains, islands. So Vantress and Ardenvale, just, having your lands do stuff is pretty nice. More plains because we have Birth, and we have more just raw blue sources with the Jwaris. One of each of these bolt lands. In best of 3, I'd probably play more, but we are best of 1 and everything's very aggressive, so just one of each. Play them as a land or cast them, both are fine. Fable Passage, fix your mana. Field of Ruin, deal with a... what's the freaking card called? Crawling Baron. No, I mean, Crawling Barons, yes, but also Faceless Haven, which reminds me, I am going to add a Spyglass. That's what I wanted to put in the board. I know, very professional. We're going to put a Spyglass in this board, and we're probably going to end up cutting... I mean, I'll cut something throughout the games, I'm not sure, but I really want to put a Spyglass in the board, and the rest of the mana base is basically just the pathways and the temples. So that's it for the list, guys. If you like the deck, be sure to drop a like on the video, and consider subscribing. It motivates me to make more content. So that's going to be it for me, guys. Let's get into some games. Okay, yeah, hand is pretty good. By the way, we ended up cutting the Midnight Clock for the Sorcerer Spyglass because I think that the main reason the clock was there was against rogues, and basically I don't know if I'm even going to have time to fetch and resolve a clock against them, and besides, we're an 80 card pile, we should be able to win regardless of if we can get that clock or not, and I also think that getting beaten down by Faceless Haven is a lot more concerning. So that's the swap I made. Maybe it's incorrect, we'll see. Voice being a little weird. Alright, hand is pretty good. We have a lot of stuff to do on 2. I guess we're going to play this on white. And we're going to Omen because we want to hit another land drop. Opponent takes a mulligan and opts. Alright, so maybe mono blue combo, maybe something, is it aggro-y? We'll see. Having negate in this kind of matchup is pretty nice. Some Simic. Alright, guess I'm completely wrong. So like, what, Simic Adventures or something? Maybe Bant Adventures? But then why are you running Opt? Who knows? So we're just looking for land. I mean, Tome is nice. I mean, Tome is actually really nice here. Do I take both? Just play Temple, play a Tome? I think so. Both seem pretty good to me. Take a Scry. I want land. And we're going to tap out, not hold open negate, but I think that's fine. I think having Tome down with open mana every turn is really powerful. We can either draw cards off it, set up our deck, or counter spells. There's an Innkeeper. So opponent technically has 2 mana because they can tap the Innkeeper for a mana. Yep, there's another Innkeeper. Doomscar looking really nice. Alright, let's take a Scry. Land. Nice. Okay, so we're going to play it. And now what? I can foretell Doomscar. Hold open, like, I guess, negate and Tome Draw. I actually don't hate that. It means if we hit another land, We can Doomscar plus hold open. I guess the same stuff as last time, which should be good enough. So we're going to foretell this now. And pass. It means that we don't get to hold open Saw It Coming or Omen of the Sun. But I think that's okay. If they're going to add to the board, then we just wipe it. So maybe we see Brazen Borrower here. Alright, let's take out the Borrower. If they were to cast it next turn, then they would draw 2 cards, and maybe that was the adventure creature they're counting on drawing. Alright, so it is Bant Adventures. Let's go play the Owl. Just a nice juicy board for me to sweep. That's okay too, we take those. Nice big wide board. I'll put a stop on my upkeep, but I don't think I'm gonna scry. I really hope I hit untap land here. Omen. Omen's close. It gets me deeper, but then I can't hold anything open. I think we bottom it, just really hope for untap land. Not gonna scry. I think it's fine if we just Doomscar this board. They have 1 card in hand, we have plenty of stuff to do. Alright, board wiped. So maybe I should have kept the Omen and looked, but yeah, I figured like even if we miss a land drop there, we're just so far ahead. So yeah, we just kind of dominate this Bant Adventure pile. I do think countering that Brazen Borrower was the correct play, because if not, they draw 2 more cards. And while wiping their board is solid in that spot, we just have more card advantage to contend with from there. Against Bonesaw, nice. Alright, hand's good enough to keep, although mana might get a little bit awkward. With this potentially being a tap land on 2, and me kind of wanting to fetch white on 1. If we had another white source, this would be really easy. I think I'm supposed to play Disruption. Tapped. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to do that instead of fetching with Fabled Passage, because if I really need it... I mean, maybe I should have just played this tapped. Who knows? But we don't get punished anyways. We find the planes. Opponents on Dimir probably control. So we can foretell right back at him. Yeah, I do think I should have technically cracked the passage, but it's also if we find any untapped land, we're probably in a good spot. Opponent probably foretold a Saw It Coming. That's really good in this matchup. So I want to wait for Nico. Nico can accrue a ton of value over the course of a game. And maybe we can even resolve a Seagate Restoration. Unless we really just want to be aggressive and pressure our opponent into using counter spells. They're going to have plenty of removal for this Archon. I don't think they're rogues. They would have the companion. I don't think they're even going to tap out for anything. Let's play this land. What can they tap out for on 4? Nothing I really care about, I don't think. I think we just buy Yorion. We can definitely go longer than them, and they behold. That's fine. I don't think I would have countered that. We have to be cognizant of sharks, but the last casket, taking a big shark and then blinking that with Yorion is really powerful. So I'm going to hold this restoration until I need it to hit my land drop, because hitting land is really important, but resolving a restoration can also just win the game. Okay, an opponent goes for Nightmare. So what's the plan? I want to get a non-creature spell that they probably care about. I mean, we probably just go for the Tome, right? Tome is so good, it's 4 more cards. Plus we can hold open Saw It Coming this whole time. Alright, let's go for that. I'll bait them with the Seagate Restoration, they can take that, but I do think they're going to take Nico. And they're thinking about both, even looking at the glass casket. Yep, and there's Nico. That's fine. Resolving Nico would be nice, but I think it's okay that we don't have him. This Tome is going to give us 4 cards, while Nico can give us a couple. I do think the Tome is more important. Opponent foretells again. we're going to crack this. I mean, Archon's a really powerful card. I just believe they can answer it pretty much at all times. We will get another Plains. And Hand Disruption is something Black has that would be really good in this match. Second Tome, nice. And Amiria's Call. Alright, let's go for the Tome. What you got? Resolves? Okay. And let's play this tapped. I think that Restoration's going to be better. And we only need to hold up 2 mana, unless we really want to play around a Force Spike. Which, I mean, they probably run, but they're also a snow deck, so I'm not sure. So what are we countering, like? Not Behold, but the freaking Graven Lore, that's the one. The one where they draw 3, scry 5, potentially. 2 to the bottom. It wouldn't surprise me if their deck is just absolutely packed with removal. Being, you know, Dimir and all. I'm not even sure who's favored. I think they are, just because of how at instant speed they can play. But we also have these tomes, which are going to help us keep up in card advantage. Alright, so they actually do have Crawling Barrens, which means that my Sorcerer's Spyglass in the sideboard might come in handy. And I'm going to spread out the counters. Draw, hit a Doomscar, nice. Do I scry? I don't think so. I want all the cards out of these. Rewarded. Can play Mistgate. You want 2 mana to draw, 2 mana to draw, and potentially 2 mana to counter. I can go for the Fae of Wishes and grab, like, Negate, but I do think just holding open everything to counter is better. And I think we foretell this. Just kind of trip our opponent out into thinking we have more counter magic than they do. The staring at each other mirror match continues. Okay, and they tap out for Crawling Barrens. Or Crawling Barrens Pump. You also have a Field of Ruin in the deck, which would be really good. To draw, it would take out that pesky Barrens. We'll see. If they don't do anything, we draw 2 cards, which is completely fine, and maybe then they resolve Graven Lore. But if they resolve Graven Lore, then we get... Hold on, how many cards are we going to have in hand? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to have 7, 8. We're going to need to hit a land, or we're going to have to discard. And we're good. Easy. I think if we wish, it gets countered. If we do this, it definitely gets countered. So we don't have 8 mana. We can't Wish, Saw It Coming plus Maze Mind Tome. And that means we also can't... I mean, we don't want a Yorion yet either. We can play an Archon as kind of bait, but I want more mana when I mean, it's kind of awkward, right? Holding open all this stuff. Maybe we just try for an Archon. And if we don't draw 2 cards, that's okay, because we're about to overdraw our hand anyways. Archon resolves, and we can pass. Opponent doesn't know if we have enchantments or not. And if they're waiting for us to make the first move, that's okay. Heartless Act, no surprise there. It puts something in the yard for a potential ECD, which we haven't seen yet, but eventually will. And they pump the Baron some more, okay. So I have some time to fetch this Spyglass. And I don't know if they're going to have any way to remove it, because it doesn't look like they're in Sultai. I need them to tap out for something. Have we seen any counter magic? No, we've seen double Behold. Okay. Opponent on that draw go lifestyle. We're going to take another card, hopefully find some land, because the Seagate Restoration looks really nice. And there's some land. Okay, no scry. We'll play this out. Maybe it was correct to play the... untap land is good, but we have some land. Maybe it was correct to play this as a land, so we have 8 mana, so we have that entire sequence that I was talking about last turn. Make them have removal again. I think that's more important than respecting Crawling Barrens right now. If they're tapping 4 or 5 mana to attack me with it, I think we're pretty happy. So let's try to get another Archon down. It's not perfect, but it's keeping them preoccupied. Second Heartless Act. I mean, Eliminate doesn't kill it, so they do just need second Heartless Act. Again, I'm not surprised. These piles are absolutely full of removal. And I kind of do want to blink these tomes. Yeah, there's the Crawling Barrens. Okay. Opponent has 5-6 cards. We have plenty more than them, but a lot of it's removal. I'm sure at least a couple of their cards are removal. We're almost even on land. They're just a little bit ahead because of the fact that they started. All right, gonna clock me for 8 and hold open 4 mana. Okay, unfortunate. I can't even use this on it. We're gonna take 1 draw. We have 8 life in these tomes as well if we don't do anything about it. All right, there's a Juarez that actually might come in handy. We'll tap, I guess like this. Maybe Auto Tapper would have done that, but let's wish. I think we might be able to force spike something here if we go for a counter war. Grab my Spyglass. And I think I play it next turn when I have more counter magic as backup. So we can play out other land, Apparition, I don't think is very good. And what, Fae of Wishes to chump block? But see, here's the problem. If they animate this Crawling Barrens again, push it to, but we actually have life. Okay, one thing is if they animate it again, thinking they have lethal, and push me to, how much can they do? They can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. They can do exactly 12, but then we gain some life off scrying. So I think we go for this Fae. And then once we resolve Spyglass, we're safe. So Fae's blocker. And we pass. Okay. Maybe Juarez hits something, maybe it doesn't. They just pump even more mana into the Barrens. Okay. So they're really just banking on this Barrens. Maybe I am playing around. I was playing around 2 counterspells there. Like, this can easily be a Sot coming, and they can easily have a negate in hand. Go for a Nightmare. Okay. Unfortunate. Could have countered that. Maybe I was supposed to. But the instant speed life gain is very tempting. Okay, they go to 12. We can gain some life, so we're still not dead. Let's gain a response. And we're going to eat a huge hit. Ouch. Doesn't feel great. Can't lie. And Scryland, very good. Okay. So the Spyglass is going to hit, and I'm actually so glad I put it in last minute. Like, that was a good call. My turn. Okay, how greedy am I? Do I Seagate Restoration for 1,000,000 cards? This costs 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 9 mana. If I Seagate, I don't think I can lose. And they're tapped to 1. Ultimate Greed. Ultimate Greed. Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Spyglass. Okay, so they had spot removal and they have a Shark Typhoon. We call Crawling Barrens. This still could be a counterspell, we don't know. And I mean, there's so much land. And let's go for this. All right, so the 1 Seagate looking real nice. Yep, there you go. Enjoy. All right, let's start sorting this hand out. Oh my god. Land. 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 Is it even sorting? I don't even think it's sorting. Oh, Jesus. Okay, well, opponent has a lot of cards to choose from. Question is, did they top deck Fae of Wishes, fetch, feed this worm, kill me with the Barons? They take Into the Fable. Okay, I mean, that's fine. My technology. Gotta remember, this is Foretell Zone. We have our other Fae. Let's crack the passage. So, problem with the Shark Typhoon. It is an instant speed thing. So we need a way to kill a threat at instant speed, which my deck struggles with. Let's not take this Scry just yet. Oh boy, do we have a lot of options, as I'm gonna put it. Land for turn. Very good. So how do I do this? It's not like we're in black and can just easily get out of this situation. If I Ulrun's Epiphany, does that do anything for me? Ulrun's Epiphany, they counter it. I guess I'm dead. I mean, maybe I just fetch Stern Dismissal, honestly, and bounce the Shark token they create. Alright, I think that's not too bad. I wonder if this is a counter spell. I mean, if they counter something... I mean, they would counter the Epiphany, we would fight, then we still die to the Shark. Alright. Let's wish. We wish for... I mean, we could wish for our own Shark Typhoon. And then what? Slam it? And then if that resolves 1, 2, 3, 4... This still might be a counter spell, though. I think we just grab this to be safe. Instant speed interaction. Okay. And now what? We want... Oh god, I'm going to rope myself. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. I guess we can go for a Tome. One hold open. Probably 5 mana. Actually, let's just... This can actually start gaining life, so... Let's get this online. And we'll pass. Okay, let me just sort out my hand a little bit, because this is getting a bit ridiculous. You can tell I haven't cast many Seagate Restorations, or you can tell I haven't played with like 25 cards in my hand. So the reason we tap... Oh, maybe I shouldn't have tapped out for that. We're not tapped out, but you know what I'm saying. Tapped low. Yeah, shouldn't have tapped for that. I wanted to... Okay, they go for a Midnight Clock, which is more than okay. Play the Omen. Resolves. Very good. Don't need that. Don't need that. There's not much we really do need. Let's play out other Omen. Casket, ECD. We have one. I guess second ECD would be fine, but I kind of want to play more of an instant speed game anyways. So 2 to the bottom. Another Casket. We'll scry with this Tome to start getting it up there. We can scry at any time with this one. Archon. That actually might not be bad. Alright, let's keep the Archon. Okay, my turn. Opponent's going to start with a Midnight Clock. And we are going to begin with Plains. We have 12 mana. Okay, let's... I think we start with an Epiphany. We still have 5 mana, so we can counter something. And... I mean, we can counter 2 things. Alright, Epiphany. Opponent's sleeping. Yeah, I know. I know. But I have a lot of options. And I want to make sure I make the right calls. So, Archon now? I mean, it's our turn afterwards, so I think we just slam the Archon. We get it down. And if they want to make these Shark at instant speed, it's fine. I guess they Heartless Act it. Kind of sucks, but it is what it is. I think I'm looking too much at my hand. We scry here. We also have blockers now. It's not bad. Gain some... Well, if ever they can animate the crawling barons, it's not horrible. Alright. Another upkeep counter. So. We take out the clock. Sure. 7 mana. I don't think that was the most impactful extra turn because of all the removal they have. So we exile the clock. Now we can play tap land. We have plenty of mana. Now we have 7 lands, so I want to... I mean, I could foretell a Sot coming. I want to hold up Dismissal. Well, 1, 2... I think we just pass. Honestly, no attacks with the birds. They're good blockers for the Shark Typhoon. Opponent doesn't even make a shark. Okay. Foretell something else. Let's go for the Omen. It gains a bit of life. And the opponent scoops it up. Yeah, so basically the way we win this game is we just navigate through one shark for as long as we can. And we have 2 blockers with the birds. We have Stern Dismissal for the shark. Crawling Barons basically deals with this forever unless they're running their own Fae of Wishes. And we have 2 counterspells in hand along with a 3rd one exiled. So really, as long as I play carefully and don't fuck up somehow, we are in it to win it. Sorry about the slow gameplay, guys, but you saw I had like 15 cards in my hand. That shit was freaking ridiculous. Alright guys, and we are back, and oh my god, was that a game. So, Seagate Restoration absolutely carried that match, but Fae of Wishes put in a crazy amount of work. The main way I was able to survive the shark, or the potential shark that they made, was the Stern Dismissal that we fetched. And the Spyglass literally saved our life, so I'm super happy that I made that last minute cut while looking at my sideboard and talking about Faceless Haven. You can also put another Field of Ruin in here in case you really want to hit your land and have yet another answer to either Faceless Haven or Crawling Barons. But yeah, absolute GOAT right here, Sorcerer Spyglass, like huge fan. Anyways, guys, this is the list. It is sort of a mess and it is kind of a pile, but it is a lot of fun and there's a lot of room for flexibility if you want to try it in certain cards, if you want to cut certain cards. There's plenty of room, plenty of slots. Just figure out whatever works for you. This is what I'm working with, but honestly, it's a very flexible deck. So that's it for me, guys. Again, deck list will be in the description down below, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace out.